Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Praino. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Port Hueneme, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Morning.
Morning.
Top of the morning to you.
I want you to know I'm fighting the elements out here in Port Hueneme. We've got the shed is a very interesting ecosystem today. So, first of all, the other day I lit a candle in here, and then I left it burning for like 14 hours. I came in the next morning and it was still burning. I told my wife, I was like, left the candle burning. She's like, how long? I was like, 2 hours. She's like, that's crazy. I was like, it's like 20. So this is a 75 square foot room, and it's just like, I'm getting a mind-numbing headache from the smell of this candle that had been burning for half a day.
Was it a candle? Was it a Mexican candle with Our Lady of Guadalupe?
Yeah. Yeah. And then so now I got to have the window open to get a little fresh air in here, but it's cold and raining outside. So I also have the heater on behind me right there. And as I was walking in through the rain, my cup of coffee, big drop of water off the roof, straight into the cup of coffee. And I'm like, am I going to get fucking some crazy disease now? I think the majority of our fans are probably like, don't be a fucking pussy. But I'm not.
Sounds like first world problems, to be perfectly frank here.
I just have some acid rain in my coffee, and I'm getting smoked out by a fucking lavender candle.
You left it burning for 14 hours.
I literally came in here the other day.
You were so lucky fire didn't start.
I know. What was amazing is it's some sort of miracle candle, because it had been burned to there was nothing left to burn. There was no wax at the bottom of the thing. It was just, the wick was just still going. I was like, how? This doesn't even make any sense. I went to blow it out. I barely touched the thing. It was like, I'm surprised that the glass didn't explode so hot.
Yeah. I don't think I've never left a candle in that long. Oh, there it is.
Completely empty now.
It's a relic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry dealing with such a difficult situation.
It's a difficult situation this morning, Andy.
Let me tell you.
It's a delicate ecosystem. Window open, but also heat on,
I think it's a pretty easy ecosystem you got going there, It's warming up here. That's good.
It's good.
Starting it.
Are you guys getting rain there?
We are.
The western part of this country is getting dumped on.
Yeah, we got yesterday. We're going to get it tonight. I'm hoping it stays off a little so I can hit the grill tonight. Little steak, mashed potatoes, and asparagus for the fam. By that, I mean Brittany and I. The kids will get dino nugs or some other shit.
They don't get mashed potatoes? Seems like that's their speed.
I was not a mashed potato girl. Molly will probably crush some mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
She's weird.
There's a lot of Mollies in the world who like potatoes.
Yeah, kids are weird how they eat. But kids, when you plan a meal or dinner or whatever, you're just like, is my kid going to eat this? And then you hate to do the separate stuff. The truth is, I don't know how parents make their kids' meals healthy all the time. I just don't know. It's just too easy to throw dino nugs in an air fryer or a mini pizza. But also when they're 3, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's not early in life you're setting the stage for heart disease or anything like that. You'll be fine.
Even though some of my brothers make diabetes jokes to me already. I'm like, I don't know why she likes snacks so much. She likes snacks.
I'm not worried about dino nugs. I did cocaine off of the car exhaust pipe.
Dino nug. You know, I used to be able to do him. And I think I lost. I lost the RFK Jr. I could do him pretty good, I felt. I used to mess around by myself.
I used to mess around by myself. Just down here in the lab.
No, it's the office, and it's off limits. Isla has learned it's off limits.
Why is it off limits? There's drugs in there?
No,
where's your gun?
I don't have one. Thought about it though. Because of just the stuff, and maybe she was traumatized because one of my lights fell on her. That was like the first thing, like serious injury she got when she was like almost 1. And she had, I don't even know if she still has a little scar above her. She's like, "You can't go in there, Molly. That's Daddy's office." but then when she does get to go in here, it's a big deal. Mostly because of the bobbleheads.
Right.
It's like, oh,
what do you got? The lights? You got the lights just on stands or something like that? Like they're just
the same ones from the Smut Studio.
Just get yourself some sandbags, buddy.
I know. She walked out with the George W. Bush bobblehead there. I could not stop laughing. She's like, "Who's that?" I was like, "The guy who did 9/11."
She's like, I thought you did 9/11.
I don't have time. I don't have time to get into this yet. You're too young. You're too young for this. I see in the comments. So here's the thing, guys. Thursday pods. We kind of do the show when we do it. Like it's mostly been Friday, but this week we're doing Thursday. Joe and I are figuring out the schedule with him leaving for Japan next week.
That's right.
How do you, my question is, how do you pack for something like that? 2 weeks, other side of the world. Like, how do you even begin to tackle something like that?
And I'm not great at packing. My wife makes fun of me all the time. It's like, I've done so much comedy. I'm just not great. I would say I am a great packer, but I am a procrastinating packer. I'm always packing desperately at the last minute. So I just the other day while I was in the shower, I had an idea of like, what do I really need to bring? And then I got like a little bit of a panic attack and was like, don't worry about that now. Just cram pack like you always do. I'm a classic overpacker as well. I've always overpacked. But at the same time, like, if I go comedy for the weekend, it's always just a carry-on, and it's always like, it's always very like I get my shit in my shit. But like when I go to New York for 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever, I always bring like a checked bag. I should probably just bring a carry-on and do laundry because I end up doing laundry there anyway, but I always overpack. We have we get a checked bag each on our flight, and then obviously a carry-on bag each. So I'm packing my snowboard stuff, and I'm going to take all my snowboard stuff and put like all my winter shit and whatever in there, because in Japan, this is amazing. There's like a million places like the airport, convenience stores, hotels, where you just go and you take their bag and you're like, send it to this other place for me. So when we get to the airport, we'll be able to take our snowboard stuff, our ski stuff, and just send it to our second location where we're snowboarding. So we won't have to bring that to Tokyo with us. So we'll pack for checked baggage. We'll pack ski snowboard stuff, and then we'll pack one checked luggage, and then we'll each bring carry-ons. And we're going to keep the checked luggage a little light. My wife has a lot of ideas of shopping while she's there, so we shall see. I won't be doing any shopping, because despite the fact that at first I was like, yeah, I'm going to get some like Japanese denim too, I realized that's like dressing Godzilla there. Like there's not going to be the idea of me getting like size 13 cool sneakers is probably not happening.
You can feel like a giant over there.
Somebody told me that I should be prepared for a lot of people to ask me to pick them up because I'm so big. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Man, that's a fun culture. Pick them up,
Yeah.
just like strangers. You're just like, hey, we pick you up. That's
Yep.
amazing that they were like that. That's a little surprising too, because there's such a polite culture that I feel like they stick to themselves. Yet, at the same token, hey man, you're bigger than me. You want to pick me? Can you imagine in America if you did that?
Yeah.
Imagine if I just walked up to somebody and was like, "Hey man,
We pick me up. And then they'd be like, but what is this about?
They'd punch me in the face, or they'd be like, "Get away from me."
Yeah.
Or they might think I'm like hitting on them. What do you mean, pick me up?
I'm thinking about, Japan is the home of Nintendo originally. I'm thinking about going down to the mustache and just getting a Luigi costume and just walking around town as Luigi. That would probably set people's heads explode.
Yeah, didn't Tom Green go and troll back in the
Did he?
day? Yeah, I think he did. I think there was some Tom Green episodes where he just messes. Yeah, I think I recall him being on like a subway, just messing with people because they don't do anything back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like America where you get shanked. Like, oh, you messing me? I'm gonna stab you. It's not that. Those just sit there and take it. Which, by the way, going back to packing, I think that's a man thing of just like last minute
Procrastinated packing.
and women are just like, you haven't packed yet. What are you doing?
I'll like for the whole day before I go on the road for comment, I was like, I don't want to pack. She's like, just fucking pack already. I'm like, but I don't want to.
Yeah, it's annoying. I agree.
Yeah.
So the talk on the tanking has continued.
Honestly, so I listened to Bill Simmons the other day, and he brought up tanking and needing a solve for tanking. And I listened to the episode, and their solves were not good. They didn't have any good solves. And then I listened to another portion of his episode of a different episode yesterday, and he was like, no more emailing me solutions for tanking. We're good on solutions for tanking. No one has the right answer. And then he actually read 2 suggested things. I'm telling you, Andy, mine is the best. And I'm not being, this is not like my ego. It's just, I'm the only one that's thought it all the way through. Everybody's just trying to solve the tanking in the immediate, but none of them consider that like these have effects on the, like you can't take away draft picks in the year somebody tanks, or else people wouldn't be tanking in the first place, and then the league just stays terrible. Mine is the only one that gives excitement and kind of kicks it down the line. I'm telling you, mine's the best. I've heard 25 fucking solutions now.
Okay, so I said last episode, it's not an issue for me, truthfully, right? I'm like, the tanking thing.
Hold on. Let's clarify something. How much NBA have you watched this season?
Not much, but I don't think about, my point is I never think about tanking any year.
Right.
I've never like thought about it. Enter Mark Cuban, because I was seeing what he was saying on Twitter, and he had some long, some of those like long threads going. And we'll start with this one. He actually says he thinks the NBA should embrace tanking, and I don't know if he's saying that kind of sarcastically. I like the sentiment of what he says here. All right, let me just read a few things what he says. His overall sentiment is that he doesn't think i.e. maybe me, the just average fan doesn't think about it, doesn't care. He thinks, the NBA, I'll just do the last few paragraphs. The NBA should worry more about fan experience, agree, than tanking. It should worry more about pricing fans out of games than tanking, agree. You know who cares the least about tanking? This is me. A parent who can't afford to bring their 3 kids to a game and buy their kids a jersey of their favorite player. Tanking isn't the issue, affordability and the quality of the game presentation. And then he goes on in this paragraph basically saying,
let me just step before
Go
you go on. So Mark Cuban is a guy I really like, and I generally really like his opinions. I generally really like his takes. But to me, this feels like a guy who's making an excuse for a team that tanked while he owned it and a team that continues to tank while he doesn't own it. By bringing up, it's like we're literally talking about apples and oranges. What a good commissioner can think about affordability and a tanking problem. They're not mutually exclusive. You can solve tanking and solve affordability. Those two things don't have anything to do with each other.
Well, I guess yes. Again, the point is, in this long diatribe that he writes out, he's basically saying the common fan, when they go to a game, of course they want to win. They want their local hometown team to win. But his point is, he even says it, are you going to what are you going to remember maybe even years from now? And I think it's valid. He's like, you're not going to remember the score of that game. You remember who you were with, family, friends, whatever. That's a great, you're shaking your head.
It's a horrible, horrible, horrible sentiment. I could not listen. I understand that I grew up.
Really? I disagree.
Hold on. I understand that I grew up in New York. It's a different place. Specifically, where basketball is played is a different place than a lot of the arenas in the world for across sports. But let me just say one thing. Going to Madison Square Garden as a kid was great because of the energy that was there and the defense chants down the stretch. And
point.
No, it's not his point. No one gives a fuck when the team is 17 and whatever. They're not doing that shit. No one is the energy that the fandom as a whole bring. A 12-year-old might bring that defense chant because this is the first game they've ever been to and they can't conceptualize that they're already out of the playoffs. But as a whole, when that place is rocking, that's how you build young basketball fans into caring for life.
Okay, well, let me just read some of it then verbatim. Okay. If you can remember the score from the last game they saw or went to, they can't remember the dunks or shots. What they remember is who they're with, their family, friends, a date, what makes this experience special. Fans know their teams can't win every game. They know that only one team can win a ring. What fans care about their team's record is that what they care about more is that they want hope. Hope that they'll have a better chance to win, better chance to compete. Then he actually brings up the Mavs. We didn't tank often, but we did tank a few times over my 23 years. When we did, he said he feels fans appreciated it because it got us to where we could improve, trade up to get Luka, improve our team, et cetera, et cetera.
I'll take it one step further. If you want to link these two things, and Mark Cuban, I can tell you did not do this, even though if there was anybody that would do this, he would be the guy, but I can almost with 99.99% certainty guarantee that he didn't. I don't think ticket prices got cut in half this day they decided to start tanking. I don't think he all of a sudden went 50% off the rest of the year now that we're out of the playoff mix and we're not going to try to win games. So the problem with tanking in the NBA is it is expensive to go to these games, and you're telling fans pay that despite the fact that we're not going to try to win when you're there. If there's a story from the fucking Dallas Courier-Journal or whatever the fuck their newspaper is down there, Mark Cuban announces 50% off tickets because we're tanking for Luka, I'll eat my fucking words. But If anyone did it, he did it. And I can tell you what, the Utah Jazz ain't doing it. I can tell you the Bucks ain't doing it. I can tell you across the NBA that 99 out of 100 teams don't make any adjustment to their prices. Oh, we're talking about affordability. So come to the game that we're telling you we're not going to try to win, but we're not going to care. You still need to care to the tune of the exact same price you would pay if we were in the playoffs.
Look, that's a fair point. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'd have to do some digging on that.
But again, if anyone did it, he did it. No one else. The Pelicans aren't lowering their prices. The Jazz aren't lowering their prices. None of these teams that are out
Are they
of it,
incentivizing any deals to concession stand or things like that, though? I'm just putting it out there. I don't know.
But here's the problem. The problem with the NBA and tanking right now is that there's a ton of issues with the league right now, and most of the issues can be solved by owners being less greedy. The tanking would be harder to accomplish and less incentivized to do if the season were shorter. Why isn't the season shorter? Why does the NFL keep adding games? For money. That's why they're doing it. So the idea that you could make tanking less likely by lowering the number of games, but Mark Cuban and his co-owners are not going to do that because they want their money, but then they have the audacity to talk about affordability.
Do you remember your first Knicks game?
Like it was fucking yesterday, dude. And I remember my last Knicks game. And guess what I remember about my last Knicks game? My last Knicks game was at the Staples Center. It went to overtime. It was a nationally televised game. It went to overtime. Luka had a huge game. Brunson hurt his ankle. I don't remember shit from the Jumbotron.
But like your first game in Madison Square Garden.
Do I remember the score? No.
No. You know, I wasn't asking. But like for me, obviously I didn't grow up in an NBA town. Like I grew up, going to Xavier basketball games. But I remember, my point is, I remember same thing. I don't remember the score. I know who they played. I was a second grader. I vividly remember going with my dad and my uncle and the basically what he's now. Granted, that was my first one, so it is memorable. But it goes back to kind of what he's saying. Like I remember just walking in the old Cincinnati Gardens and the smell, and you see all the stuff of the Cincinnati Royals, and my dad started talking about Oscar Robertson. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I remember all that, and obviously Xavier was actually good that year. And they had Tyrone Hill, and they had some they had a few NBA players. I remember the stickiness of the floor and just how old it was, and like those are things that are tangible that you can remember.
Sure. No, that none of that has to change. This is a distraction from the issue. Mark Cuban's talking about two things that have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. What does affordability have to do with tanking? I'd argue what you're saying is the opposite. People tank so that they can get better. They can get better, then they can make more money. I mean, that's why people are tanking. Like, there's not 10 owners across sports. There's not 10 owners across sports whose number 1A priority is winning a championship. There's not. In 4 major professional sports leagues in America, there's not 10 owners whose 1A top of the heap priority is, I want to win a championship. 99.999% of owners, 1A reason
money.
For owning a team is money.
Sure.
So the idea that any of these things, we tank so we could have a better chance for Luka, like Mark Cuban diving into the mix because he's a guy who cared about his team and did want to win, and one of those people who actually was trying to win championships, and talking and then muddying the waters with affordability. Bro, you're not every owner. What you think and what goes for every other team is not the same for one. Also, you're not an owner in basketball anymore because you saw the money and you took the money and you ran out. So, like, I love Mark Cuban, but it's like affordability has nothing to do with tanking.
Well, apparently he also, again, hopped in. He said he did make a recommendation back in the day. Like when they were good, and he said they were winning 50 games a year and they never got a good pick. This is what he had suggested back years ago. Make the draft more like a free agency, except the worst record gets the salary slotted to the first draft pick. The next worst record gets the next amount, et cetera, et cetera. And then he said, then the team recruits players with, in quotes, their rookie cap room. The team with the worst record has the most money. But if their organization is terrible, the best players don't like the coach, whatever it is, they can take less money and then go to a different team. The second round stays the same.
I mean, this is a fantastic idea. That, I mean, just think about this. The draft this year, somebody doesn't want to play for Utah because Utah sucks. But now they're deciding, do I play for Utah and make more money, or do I take half as much money and go to LA and play for the Clippers, but also make up the difference in that money with some sham tree planting program that I have to sign my name to? It's great. So essentially, do I get to play in LA for the same money or Utah for less money? It's great. It's great. We solved it, Mark.
You haven't heard much about that, have we?
No.
The Kawhi Leonard.
Again, listen.
The Shell Corporation.
I love the game of basketball, and I love the NBA because the NBA has, in my opinion, it's not close, the greatest collection of athletes in the world. To me, it's a runaway winner. It is not close that the world's greatest athletes, the world's greatest collection of athletes, play in the NBA. That's why I love the league. Adam Silver is doing a dog shit job. And the reason Adam Silver is doing a dog shit job is because, despite what the Clay Travises of the world will tell you, the NBA just keeps making more money. Keeps signing huge TV deals. Every TV deal is bigger than the last one. They're a runaway fucking success. And so the guy is just like, I don't have to be great at this. I don't have to know what the fuck I'm doing. But all of these things ebb and flow. And the NBA is not going to fall apart because LeBron James said something about Israel, or Daryl Morey said something about China, or they wore T-shirts that said, I can't breathe. They're going to ebb and flow the same way the NFL, we're worried about the NFL doing it, with people getting complacent with the product. If people stop going to games because it's easier to watch on TV, but they stop watching on TV because 60% of the league isn't trying after February 1st. These are things that take root. You can go on the internet right now and hear people go, I don't really watch the NBA because no one cares and whatever. It's like, is that true? No, but it's more and more true when teams say, we are actively not trying.
I have a call about tanking. And again, we're not going to just discuss this every episode, obviously, but and take these suggestions. But I'll play one.
What's going on, Andy and Joe? This is Hunter from Michigan. Weird idea to solve the NBA's tanking problem. If you are a team that has had more than 4 or 5 lottery picks in 20 years, then the NBA hires your GM for you. Because obviously obviously your GM doesn't know what you're doing. Maybe even the NBA could have like a person that is almost like the interim GM person. Like you just hire Jerry West right now to.
He dead, bro. he goes on. I gotta play this. He goes on and continue to talk about Jerry West. Like he dead, bro. Rest in peace.
Be the person that goes into the Utah Jazz. Like, okay, you guys have had X amount of lottery picks within X amount of years. You guys don't know what you're doing. So we are forcing you guys to have Jerry West as your GM for the next 2 years. And you have to pay him an insane amount of money. And that maybe could be a way to get the tanking problem to stop. Because I think the biggest issue isn't the fact that a team tanks for a year. It seems to be that teams are just awful for forever, for 20 years. But that's just my opinion. That's my thought. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.
I mean, if they dug up Jerry West, he died in June of 24.
So people probably don't know this. In the late 70s, the NFL forced the Giants to hire George Young. The NFL forced the team. They mediated with the Giants were a disaster in the 70s. And they came out and they forced them. Now, here's the difference between the NFL and the NBA. Again, the NBA, one player can change everything. So, first of all, there's a lot of teams that are in the lottery. And the, you know, his thing of, well, if you have a top four, whatever, well, that's ping pong balls, right? So is it X amount of years in the lottery in a row before we step in? Because having the top four, or is he saying pre-lottery, the teams that finish with a bottom four record? Because you're going to have at some point 6 teams in the NBA that have NBA selected GMs. Now, let's take this one step further. We have an issue that needs solving, right? This call is about solving tanking, correct? The NBA can't solve tanking. So to solve a problem the NBA can't solve, the NBA gets to pick your GM? I'm going to go ahead and say the NBA doesn't know what the fuck they're doing in picking GMs. If the NBA knew what the fuck they were doing, we wouldn't have a tanking problem.
Well, also, I mean, you can't this same
now, if
similar.
Jerry West were alive, Jerry West could be in charge of picking your GM.
I mean, this whole thing has been kind of talked about before with you know, forcing. It's the same mindset of forcing a team owner to sell, right? Like you've been
now,
a
that would be great, but again, the NBA, the NFL, when you say the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, what is that? That's a collection of owners. No owners are ever going to vote for owners having their teams removed.
Yeah.
So Adam Silver doesn't make that decision because he's a mouthpiece for the owners. He's just telling you what the owners are telling him. The owners aren't going to tell Adam Silver that at some point multi-billion-dollar investments can be taken from them and sold to the highest bidder. They're never going to vote for it.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's just unrealistic, truthfully. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. It just would never happen. Like, you know, again, I don't know how you penalize. It's tough because they own the team. Like, I don't know how you penalize teams, owners, like, for just sucking.
Well, purposely sucking.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's
But
really
they just,
like
they just
again
did
across sports. It's tough.
They just did it twice, right? So there is a world where somebody's determining you guys are losing on purpose. We don't like that. Now you must be fined for it. So there is a world where the majority of owners don't want people blatantly tanking. That's why a solution of punishing teams for tanking, if it's determined that is the only way to do it. But again, now we go back, we start the problem over again. You can't take away draft picks in the draft that they tanked for because they're so fucking bad that they had to tank. And now you're just extending how long they're bad for. We need to let them get good, then punish them. Or give them the opportunity to be good and then punish them.
You know what I think
you guys don't understand that I did an Andy Ruther old school deprivation tank. I was in there for 14 hours on mushrooms. I put the effort in to come up with the plan. And I haven't heard a better one yet.
Here's what I think we need. You're not going to get this reference. Maybe 2 people get it. What we need are real tanks on the basketball court. A la the Master P, make him say, music video, where he rolls out in a tank on the basketball court from the late 90s. Anybody get that? Does anybody get that?
I remember that video.
You remember that video?
Yeah.
He rolls out in a tank on the basketball court because he's the colonel of this motherfucking tank. I was thinking of that. I don't know why. Back when you used to watch music videos, which complete side note, the death of MTV, it kind of stung a little. It stung a little here. It stung a little.
The death of MTV?
In the last couple months when they aired their last.
I don't know. Is it officially, it's like, it's not a thing anymore?
Done.
Like MTV does not exist.
Yeah,
if I go on cable,
music videos don't exist.
Well, I know music video. How long? It's been a decade. It's been 2 decades since they played the last music video.
Well, they had a 24-hour music-focused channel. That's done. Like they still had that.
I don't understand.
Paramount Global had a 24-hour music.
Where was that available?
I don't know. Still, it's like you didn't see that it was the last thing aired on December 31st.
No, I didn't, and I don't know what that was. That was the last episode of fucking some reality show no one's watched or something.
No, MTV is still, I believe, it's still around. It's
okay. So there's still a channel. I'll research this after. I'm actually listening to a podcast right now. Shout out to our boy Jack Coyne from Trackstar. He did an episode of the Trackstar podcast with one of the original executives from MTV. I'm halfway through that episode, so maybe there's some answers in there. But I miss old, like I hated MTV when I was like 20 years ago now. I hated MTV 25 years ago now. I mean, we're talking about me being in my apartment in New York and in Brooklyn in 2001 and 2002 and 2003, talking about fucking Newlyweds and all that fucking dog shit. Like, give me old school. Like, I want music videos. I always liked music videos. Bring back the music video channel.
Oh, it'll never happen, obviously, with social media. There's no point.
Okay. But you know what the problem with, I think the problem with media in general now is that everything's too niche. Like, what about breaking new stuff to people? The reason and I understand that now you're getting into payola and all the things that, you know, people essentially, I mean, the industry plant conversation. But give me a place where a tastemaker, somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about, who has good taste, says, here's 10 things you haven't seen before. You should watch them. As opposed to the internet where everybody, it's that's where the term influencer comes from, is because they're trying to influence people to do things for the sake of getting paid.
Well, this is good. This is a good time.
Listen, I understand that existed on the radio with payola and MTV with corporate fucking shit and whatever. But there was also, when MTV started, there was a really nice little, prehistoric, hey, let's just show people what we think is cool.
Well, this is a good time for me to announce they actually are launching a new show. I'm going to be on it. Yeah. You heard they used to have Teen Mom. They're launching a new one. Old Dad. It's just old dads, people who have kids in their 40s. And
wasn't that a Bill Burr movie on Netflix?
It was. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it for the record.
I haven't watched it.
I liked it.
I thought you were going to tell us you were going to be on the new Newlyweds. I thought you were about to announce that you got married since the last episode.
No, but thanks for the reminder. I'll put that on my to-do list. I gotta put that on the old to-do list. So you're still sticking with your idea to kind of wrap it up here on tanking.
I just think, listen, there's all this talk of like, is there like a relegation system and stuff like that? Let me just make one thing clear. I love the idea of teams that are shit getting relegated. I love the best idea. The best idea is ripping from an owner's clutches a team that is not trying and giving it to somebody who's going to care. It's never going to happen. Is that the best plan? Is the best plan if you appear in the lottery at all 6 times in 10 years that you lose your team? It's the best plan that there's ever been.
Yeah.
Think about guys like me who've had to deal with the Dolans and the Wilpons in my lifetime. Oh, you're dog shit and you don't care about your fans and you're stealing money? We're taking the fucking team back. That'd be fucking glorious. Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. So we have to live in a realm of what is possible. All the tanking solutions that exist in a fantasy world where we relegate teams to a second league and those teams have to fight tooth and nail to get back into the big leagues. There's 1,000 teams in fucking UK soccer. Maybe this is something to consider because the NBA is so desperate to expand. Well, we want to expand, but like, do we need to expand when the season's too long and teams are tanking? All right, maybe we expand and we have a relegation league. Okay, now we're talking. But the truth is, we need to keep things realistic. And my plan doesn't punish you in the draft that you're tanking for. But God damn it, when you think you're free and clear, you're paying for your past sins. And A. Millie was the one that asked me to do it, and he fucking sent me a reply on Twitter the other day after he heard my thing. Let me see if I can find it here. And he said, "Bro, I'm imagining how high of a bridge I jump off if 6 years down the line we forfeit our second overall pick because we tanked in 2024. I'm like, exciting, right?
Well, we have some very exciting sports news here for Sundays in the summer. ESPN, which by the way, this is interesting. They gave this to Variety to reveal. So I've read some things that there's a whole PR play behind this. Clearly there is. Because they want Variety to unveil this, not themselves. ESPN will replace summer Sunday Night Baseball. We all know how that played out with the contract. So Sunday Night Baseball in the summer will be replaced with something they're calling Women's Sports Sundays. Doesn't have the best ring to it, I'll be honest, from a branding perspective. Women's Sports Sundays. They will play top-notch, or the top matchups for the WNBA and the NWSL. Truth is, took me a second. I was like, what does that stand for? Oh, the National Women's Soccer League. Didn't really know it was a thing, be perfectly honest. So this is the move that ESPN is doing.
Do you know what I think would have been a better move?
Digging up Jerry West's grave and doing like a mini series on his body.
Literally, I think a better move would be if on Sundays ESPN just played music videos all day. Listen, I there's a part of me that like I understand a little bit being like we don't like we're a brand that's struggling, and this is stuff that we've acquired cheap, and now we're going to try to make it a popular thing. I'm sorry, but like your target audience
is cool.
Is women, I assume.
But that's my question. So let's look at your target audience. That's my first question. Who is your target audience? What woman is this? Is it a young, like my 14-year-old niece who plays soccer and basketball? Who's about to be in high school? Is it her?
Let's.
Is it her?
Make one. Well, it has to be.
Well, guess what?
I mean,
she won't be watching. That's the thing.
Right.
I know her. Guess what she cares more about? The men, the NBA.
Well, also the other thing
like,
is those kids are doing shit on, like it's the weekend.
Yeah, in that.
But that's my point. This is my point, Andy. Adult, 24-year-old women.
No,
Sunday's their fucking day.
Yeah,
Sunday's their day.
Sunday
Brunch. Rose all day, and then into the Northwest Soccer League or whatever it is.
National Women's Soccer League.
Whatever. Listen, I know, and it's funny that there's a woman's name in it. I know a Hail Mary when I see one, and this is ESPN going, it's cheap, and maybe we create something. But I've never been more sure that Women's Sports Sunday will not be a thing in 2031.
I just don't get it. I just don't get the pivot. Like, again, who is
maybe
like,
get some trans women in there, and then you can get some rage watchers.
Bro. Like, really? Like who?
Oh, I'm just saying no one's watching this. No one's going to be watching this.
Again, I just don't know who their market is, their target audience.
Well, they think women.
Well, I know they think women, but women.
I would love to know what
any girl I've ever known who's been into sports is more into the men's sports, just plain and simple.
But forget that. They're more into the men's sports. Theoretically, the programming director's argument would be they're more into the men's sports because the men's sports are available and talked about and on TV and on whatever. So, okay, but let's just do this. I would love to know, okay, if you talk to males age 6 to 60, what percentage of them identify as passionate sports fans? And then you talk to women age 6 to 60 and you say, what percentage of you guys are passionate sports fans? Because you got to remember something, that the number of men that are passionate sports fans is so much higher, and ESPN's still fucking bombing playing men's sports. I would bet that the percentage of men and women that identify as passionate baseball fans is 5 times higher than men or women that identify as passionate fans of any and all women's sports combined. So, and by the way, I don't give a fuck that you gave up on Sunday Night Baseball. I get that all this shit is money. You're losing money, and so you don't want to do it anymore? Fine. Cool. Bye. Do I think that they would have been smarter to reinvent Sunday Night Baseball coverage? Yeah, of course. But they're dumb. And we know that about ESPN. They're dumb. The only 2 people that you can see on ESPN anymore are Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith. 2 caricatures of themselves at this point. So ESPN is moronic and run by complete and total clowns. But this is not the answer. And it will lose money.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's niche advertising that you can do when you fucking watch daytime television. It's all for fucking laundry detergent because they're like, who's home except housewives doing laundry? And so I guess, sure, Women's Sports Sunday brought to you by Ozempic or whatever.
Yeah, it's just, again, you're just better off if you keep baseball. I'm not saying baseball was the biggest hit or what, I don't know what the eyeballs were, the viewership, but it's like you're just better off. It's bizarre.
It's amazing because we're talking about, I understand that I have a nostalgia for things. We all have a nostalgia for things that we had when we were children or when we were young. And we're like, why can't they just do that again? But you know what else is super cheap? Repurposing content that's already aired. This Week in Baseball was just taking shit from the week of baseball. They would film like one piece. Otherwise, it was stories coddled together from the week of baseball, from content that there existed, from the licensed baseball TV partnerships. It was a great show, but it was also a cheap show. You want to have something on Sunday? Do that on Sunday.
So you go from like talking heads nonstop 24/7. You have open air time, and then you put this on. Again, like I didn't know the National Women's Soccer League was even really a thing.
Well, you're about to because it's going to be fucking focal point of Women's Sports Sunday.
Are they going to do like live commentary? You know how like they have the Manning cast and that McAfee does the college football thing with his crew, their version of Manning cast. Are they going to have like the female cast?
Yeah.
With Alex Morgan and like the other
again
the other women's soccer players.
Again, get the one chick, get the one lesbian with the
Amy Wambach.
Yeah, at least do some rage programming.
Is that her?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was there another one? I don't know. But here's the thing. Women's like soccer, women's like World Cup does do well. Because they're good. Like the American women are good. But I don't think Women's National Soccer League. Also, the WNBA is in the middle of this contract dispute. Look, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but did I giggle? Did I giggle a little bit out loud the other day when I saw part of their negotiations are getting apartments? Did I giggle? I was like, apartments? This is what apartments? Like, you will pay for my apartment. Did I chuckle a little out loud? I was like, oh, it's a tough scene right here. You are haggling over a 390 square foot apartment that I used to live in. Did you see?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you see that?
Yeah. Listen, we live in an entertainment sphere that I've told people this for as long as they'll listen. There's only one reason that any show ever gets canceled. Money. That's it. It's like, oh, it was South Park's offensive. How's that going? Or this thing's too woke, or that thing's too whatever, or this thing's whatever. It doesn't matter. People watch, whatever. There's only so long that an NBA subsidy can continue being an NBA subsidy that loses money. I get that this is a TV, like, if you don't think that there's some backdoor dealings where the NBA is negotiating with ESPN for them to cover the WNBA as part of Sports Sunday, and then in turn we will provide you with this and this and this. Like, you're crazy. This shit is either not going to last or is going to be paid for in some way that we don't know by feeding them other sports and whatever. It's like, hey, take a fucking loss for a couple of years on Women's Sports Sunday so this can happen. But also, we just talked about how, again, I don't know the details of it, but something happened to MTV. Like, MTV was the biggest thing in the world for a minute, and now it's fucking nothing. And ESPN's headed that way.
Well, yes and no, as long as they obviously continue to pay for programming rights for the sports, then there'll be something.
If you don't think in the next 5 years we're gonna have Newlyweds or some version of that on ESPN, which is a reality show about Cardi B and fucking Stephon Diggs' relationship, you're insane.
I don't think we do.
You don't think we do? You
No.
think you think ESPN just goes full ass up bankrupt before they pivot like MTV did to making reality show content?
I mean, I don't know what their financials are, obviously. But again, they still have the NBA, the NHL, the NFL. It's like you still have major programming. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there. I'll be curious how it plays out. I did see, I saw this, which is kind of interesting. Speaking of all these deals, apparently the NFL is all butthurt about NBC's $2.5 billion NBA contract.
The NFL is butthurt about it?
Yes. The
Okay.
NBC is paying roughly $2.5 billion per year for the NBA rights, which also includes Sunday night basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL Sunday night football deal with NBC is $2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to, I follow some of these guys on Twitter. According to John, this is back in the day. Tug was like, follow some of these media guys. John Orand, was it Orand? He said executives. This was on a podcast of Andrew Marchand. Executives at the NFL are irritated. The deal irritated him. The NBA's deal. The idea that NBC is paying more for Sunday night basketball than for Sunday night football, it angered NFL executives, including Roger Goodell. So basically, the NFL wants to renegotiate their deal, which is currently through 2029 with NBC. Bro, these guys just can't get enough.
First of all, the $2.5 billion, and again, I'm not making it.
It's one game a week.
Yeah, for football.
For football.
The NBA deal is for more than one game a week, but also includes Sunday night basketball.
Correct.
That's what the NFL, that's what you need to read between the lines a little bit. Also, bro, it's going to be up in 2029. How about renegotiate the deal when it's fucking over? You're going to get more money. You're going to go to 3.5. Then the NBA will renegotiate their deal on the next thing. It'll go to 4. Then you go to whatever. And
then you're going to have games 52 weeks out of the year, like we said, on Mars, every continent, every country.
Unless, of course, the Bad Bunny halftime show makes everybody stop watching.
I still haven't watched it, by the way. I need to, because people have been like sending me like
memes
and like TikTok and Instagram like sketches that like involve it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I kind of don't really understand this. I'll get around to it.
Here's what we should do, Andy. Before I leave for Japan, it does sound like we'll have an evergreen episode. Maybe you should just pull the YouTube link and we'll just like live watch it. You could just do a live reaction. It's only 15 minutes long or something like that. Pause every couple minutes and just give us
just a natural reaction.
Yeah, it's an old school fucking rabble watch. A month after the Super Bowl happened, you can watch the Super Bowl halftime show and react. This is like when you did Game of Thrones.
I was just, it's funny. I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about how I watched it, and I need to go back and watch it. I've said this, but I will at some point. I don't know. Maybe we can have the live watch partnered up with Miller Lite.
That'd be great.
Drink a few beers.
I'll tell you what, Andy, I was drinking a few Miller Lights when I watched it live.
Yeah.
Shout out to my good friend, Tony Calabrese. I arrived in Idaho and he was like, "You want a Miller Lite?" The fridge was stocked with Miller Lights the whole time I was there. Just a glorious.
Wait, he asked you, were you like, is the sky blue? Is the sun yellow?
I think, it's one of those things. I think people know I like Miller Lite so much that they're, it's the easiest way for someone to say, I've thought of you. Would you like a Miller Lite, Joe? This is rhetorical, but I know, but would you like one? And I appreciate that. I appreciate it anytime somebody comes to a show or sees me out in the wild and it's like Miller Lite. I'm like, you're goddamn right.
Yeah. Well, 51 years now this year. 51 years of Miller Lites. They're older than me. They're older than you. That's how long they've been around longer than our existence on this earth. Legendary moments start with Miller Lite. That's true. They do. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Andy,
you're smuggling some to Japan, I think.
I was about to say you need to this is real. The other day, I'm just starting we've been planning this Japan trip for so long, and it's finally upon us, and I'm getting a little anxiety about it. I'm it's am I ready for it? Am I not ready? Am I too ready? I'm not sure how I feel about it. And I was just thinking the other day, I was like, is there gonna be any Miller Lite there? Am I gonna have to find the American cosplay bar or whatever that serves Miller Lite? If anyone listens to our show has been to Japan or lives in Japan, where does one get Miller Lite? Miller Lite, if you're listening, because I know you listen to our ads, where does one find your product in Japan? I'm kind of freaking out.
I like this American cosplay bar idea.
Oh, there's a lot of I've traveled a lot. You've traveled a lot.
Yeah.
You go to places, especially in Europe, where they'll be like, this is where the Americans hang out. And they'll be like, welcome, we have the football on. Would you like a Miller Lite and a hot dog? And I'm like, sure.
Sure. I got to play this video from Michael Irvin talking about the Super Bowl in San Francisco. There's just a lot to break down. He was not a fan. Now, again, to be fair, technically Santa Clara, like an hour away.
But they do all the things in San Francisco prior to game, basically.
Which he's complaining about that too. But also, I think the visuals here. I don't even know what this is from. It was making its rounds, and my algorithm hit it. I mean, it looks like he's being held hostage. This is Irvin going off.
But what I really want to tell you, and why
what I really want to tell you is that I'm being held for ransom.
I love that. Just it really feels like off camera on either side are like the mayor of Los Angeles, the mayor of New Orleans, and the mayor of Houston, who are like, you're going to trash. You're going to trash San Francisco. We're going to blow your brains out all over this curtain.
And then his outfit.
It feels like, do you remember like those closets when you were a kid that would happen in classrooms? They have the accordion thing that just like closed over it. Like, what is behind the accordion door there?
I really didn't give reports on this weekend or on this Super Bowl, and I didn't want to say it while I was in the midst of it. I wanted to wait till it was over. Honestly. Fucker.
By the way, I had to rewind that a million times to get. Oh, he's saying honestly. Okay.
This was a horrible Super Bowl. They should never, ever, ever, ever bring the Super Bowl back to San Francisco.
And he's got a TV on in the background. Like, what is going on here?
I'm sorry. The city, this was, in all the years of going to a Super Bowl, this was the worst. This seemed so like blah. It was blah in the city. You know what I mean? It just wasn't jumping like you see Super Bowls jumping. It was blah. The people, blah, blah. The buildings out here looks blah.
All right. So before this is, if this was a Yelp review, I would have stopped reading already because I'm like, you're making no cogent points. But also, there's something that you have to consider when it comes to stuff like this. And you could make the argument that what he's saying is why the Super Bowl should only be in dog shit towns. But when you drop a Super Bowl and the festivities prior to the game itself are happening in San Francisco or in New York or in Los Angeles, they're just going to get mixed into the shit. There's too much going on there. New Orleans is a little town, dude. I love New Orleans, and they don't need a reason to party. So they're going to party. They're not partying because it's the Super Bowl. They're partying because they party, and then the Super Bowl's in town. I understand when they play the Super Bowl in Minnesota that they're like, bro, the whole fucking town is about the Super Bowl. It's like, yeah, what else were they going to be about? The Gophers basketball game? Like, what the fuck? I don't think people are going to the opera. You know what I mean? But you're dropping it in a major metropolis. Did you want the people that live in San Francisco to stop everything that they were doing and bone around?
Well, look, to be fair, he said, he's been to all the cities.
I understand that.
He's played in them. He's probably been to all of them for work.
I understand that. But I'm saying this is an argument, if you want to make it for it, that they should be in towns that like built the stadium so that they could get the Super Bowl. Like, yo, every single person in Indianapolis cares about the Super Bowl when it's there. Motherfucker, what else are they going to care about?
Yeah.
And that's a fine argument if you want to make it. That's a fine argument. But don't say it's a damn shame that a major metropolis, a global city, didn't stop everything and start talking about Sam Darnold.
You know, when you go and you're going to events, it's like blah. I'm thinking it should be so much money out here because the tech is out here, right? But it all looks so blah. Blah, 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 blah.
What is he doing?
And I didn't want to dampen anybody thoughts or hope about a Super Bowl during the Super Bowl. So I said, I'm going to wait. But I couldn't wait till this moment came to tell you, damn. It's this, I believe, the worst Super Bowl I've ever gone to. And I'm talking about just seeing it and how the city rocks and everything. And then the game started and it followed suit. I was like, this is not a good game. You know.
Can someone get him some cocaine again? He a little too mellow.
The quality of the game that has no link whatsoever to where the game is hosted, right? Do we think if the game was played in Glendale, Arizona, that Drake May would have hit wide open guys?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe if the game had been played in Vegas, some of the Seahawks guys would have gone out at night. They would have been a little bit more tired. They wouldn't have eaten the Patriots offensive line alive. Is that the theory here? Like, and then the game followed suit. Well, now you're talking about two different things. And again, also, if I go to a restaurant's Yelp page and your review is just everything was blah, 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 I go, you have made no point whatsoever. I have no idea what I'm going to, what does it even mean?
Yeah.
Listen, I think I understand what he's saying in a sense, but I think what you're asking for, if you're Michael Irvin, is for the game to take place in cities where they are going to stop everything.
Indianapolis, I was there.
Was it jumping?
Oh, it was nuts, dude. The whole, again, I didn't go to the game. The whole city was about the Super Bowl.
There's a reason why people go, it's super fun going to the College World Series in Omaha. It's not fun going to Omaha any other time ever for the rest of the year.
Man, Omaha just taken straight.
But I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I understand his point in that, but like he said, there's money there. There's money in New York. There's money in San Francisco. There's money in LA. When the Super Bowl was here a couple years ago, I went to the game. But otherwise, it was like, was the Super Bowl here? Like, I wasn't driving around town like, oh, shit, I'm caught in this Super Bowl. I wonder
what he'd say about the Super Bowl in Miami.
Again, obviously, Miami,
he played
a much smaller town.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean,
and also, again, a fucking hell of a party. Like, feels like Michael Irvin wants a party.
He just wants to do cocaine somewhere.
So put the Super Bowl in New Orleans and put the Super Bowl in Miami and put the Super Bowl in Vegas. Like, if you want to rotate the game, yeah. If you want to rotate the game just between party towns, like, I'm okay with that. If you want to go New Orleans, Miami, Vegas, New Orleans, Miami, Vegas, New Orleans, Miami, Vegas, like, go for it. I don't know. Is Houston a party town when it comes down? Probably. I don't know. I mean, he played in Dallas. Let me just tell you one thing, and I've made my thoughts on Dallas. You ain't any closer to downtown Dallas when you got to drive to fucking Arlington for the game. You guys partying at the Six Flags before you go into the game? You going into the the cookie cutter corporate ballpark village or whatever.
Yeah. I do think there is something to that, though. Going to like a place where it is going to be the whole thing.
I understand his point. But the NFL also, like he said, there's money there. There's money in New York. There's money in LA. There's money in San Francisco.
It does suck how it's an hour away, though. The actual game, I think. Like, it's not San Francisco. It does suck. I hate it. I mean, I'm seeing things. You know, they're gaining.
But let's just go through some things. New York, you're in the stadiums in New Jersey.
Okay.
Right? Dallas, the stadium's in Arlington.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the game being in Dallas.
Right. No, I'm just saying. But also, I mean, LA, obviously, Inglewood is still very much a part of the city.
Sure.
LA is such a sprawling city. In New Orleans, it's fucking in downtown New Orleans. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. But, like, there's a lot of places where the stadium is not. I mean, even Arizona. You're not in downtown Phoenix.
Well, you're in Glendale, yeah.
It's a whole different fucking city. With traffic.
Well, Phoenix is also very spread out. You know,
Yeah.
that whole, it's just like LA. It's not an hour away, though. Like, stadium, you know, it's not an hour away. I mean, look, they're not, you know, the next few are, they're not changing. It's, you know, it's in LA next year. Then it's in Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. Then it's back
I'm
in
sure
Vegas.
Atlanta. I'm sure New Orleans. I'm sure Miami. I'm sure these party towns party for it. So and go for it, man. Like, I don't give a shit. But I went to parties in San Francisco. I wouldn't have described them as blah. I saw fucking Iggy Azalea, remember?
Forgot about that. Bro, I'm seeing you referenced McAfee earlier in the show.
Oh boy, here we go.
Pat McAfee has hired Hollywood super agent Ari Emanuel, who wants to turn him into the next Sylvester Stallone. He's already started booking McAfee for movie and TV roles. Interesting. Well, Pat was great when he came on our show. Oversaturation is real, though, too, dude. You know? But, and that's not the Pat. Like, how many times did we joke about Kevin Hart? Or a lot of these guys.
I love that this is just like the world we live in today. I love Ari Emanuel is just walking into fucking studio boardrooms and he's like, Sylvester Stallone in jorts. Mic drop. Call me when you have $1 billion.
Apparently, it's funny you say that.
Buddy space cop movie where Pat McAfee and Aaron Rodgers hunt aliens that Aaron Rodgers knows exist because they landed next to his house when he was playing in New Jersey, and they repopulate the moon.
Apparently, he is going to be with Stallone. Apparently, and I don't know if this is true. I'm just seeing this, that he has a 4-episode arc on an upcoming season of Tulsa King. I just like I don't know.
Hey,
Again,
what do you think of this guy, McAfee? He's coming to town. He's got a whole crew with him. One guy wears a cowboy hat. What are we doing? Don't mess with me, Sly. I'm a dog.
You know, I never thought about this until I got older. You know, addiction I think is real. I think addiction is real. It's real in so many areas of life. Addiction. I believe in it. Obviously, it's not that I've never believed in addiction, but you normally think about the main vices, drugs and gambling and
Oh my
alcohol.
God. The world, the foremost problem in the world right now is attention.
Well, I wasn't even going to say attention. I was going to say I think working for some of these people is an addiction almost. And I guess you can intertwine that with attention, but it's like, but I'm against people working, they want to keep working, but like again, I think of these guys, The Rock, Kevin Hart, and it's like Pat's like entering that world of just like, don't you want to just like be with your family, man? Like I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like at what point, I don't know. It's just like you don't want any downtime.
Well, he'll be with his family. I'm telling you, Andy, the family McAfee, when they just film his time with his family and make it a show on ESPN, will be here in the next 5 years.
Okay, maybe that one. Whatever. What's the one you said before? I was like, I don't know.
They're fucking. I mean, essentially, football wives.
Yeah, you had Cardi B and Stephon Diggs.
Well, they're not going to be together anymore because he's going to jail for beating up some other chick. But
well, apparently there was a whole thing at the Super Bowl too. She left the Super Bowl party. I don't know if you saw that.
Because it was blah, I'm assuming.
I've never seen a black dude use the word blah so much. Tulsa King. I've always, along those lines of work, I've always respected the actors who were just like, yeah, I'm done.
Bro, we were watching the other day. I'm like, does Snoop Dogg know that they're embarrassed, that he's embarrassing himself and that they're embarrassing him? Like, is there no one in his life where they're like, bro, they're dressing you up and making you like snowboard? You're going to like, they're kind of they kind of clown Snoop all day, every day. Like, what if you go in a bobsled suit and we watch you bobsled? For shizzle. How much you paying? You know, it'd be funny. Can Snoop cross country ski with the rifle? Like, that would be funny. Like, what if Snoop's doing the.
Does he make music now?
No. How do you even find the time? He's going to dress up in different outfits. Snoop Dogg is like a proper dog. And NBC is like a white chick. They're like, look at him. I dressed him as Santa Claus because it's Christmas.
I'm looking. He's putting out some songs, singles. He put out a couple singles and put out one single in 25. He put out 1, 2, 3, 4 and 24. Snoop's last album was 25. I don't fucking know anymore with these guys. I do like your Stallone meets McAfee on the show. I like that.
Is he the new guy in town? He doesn't wear any sleeves. I don't know if I like it. You know, you remember back in the day when I ran on the beach in Apollo, he didn't have sleeves? He's like that, except he's not fit at all. I don't know. He might have to be the Tulsa Prince because there's only one room in town for one king, if you know what I mean.
Do you think the schedule is just nonstop all day, 24/7? For these type of people.
Pat McAfee? Yeah.
Any of these guys that I'm talking about. Like Kevin Hart's in every commercial. He's in every movie. He's doing stand-up specials. He's touring. Did you ever watch the Eddie Murphy documentary?
No.
I'm mostly through it. I think I kind of like it. But the reason I bring that up is like it's interesting. It's like, Eddie just stopped doing stand up. And he's like, I like doing movies. And he does his thing, and it's like, that's it. And he's done it for how many years?
40?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a good actor, right? He's
Yeah.
a good actor.
He's great.
He's got a million kids, bro.
Did you watch the new not Kevin Hart? Did you watch the new Cat Williams?
I didn't. He has a new one.
Yeah.
Netflix?
Yeah, it's okay. It's just me watching and going like, this guy's insane. But that's most Cat Williams specials for me. I'm laughing at him more than I'm laughing with him because he's so fucking crazy. But this is better than the last one because the last one dropped pretty soon after the Shannon thing. But I think it was filmed before, or certainly not certainly he didn't have a chance of working out like the aftermath. This one feels like the real proper first one post that. It's funny. I said the other day, I was like, the through line of Chappelle's last special is Diddy was framed. The through line of Cat's special is Diddy is guilty and gay.
Well, I mean, what's wrong there? Isn't that
Nothing.
true?
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, it's funny that these are two.
By the way, I don't even know, like, the gay thing with Diddy. My theory on people like this.
I mean, Cat Williams at one point was like, when Diddy found out he was going to jail, he was like, "Oh
hell
yeah!" Like, shows his ass.
But like my theory on somebody like Diddy is like, it's just going back to like the work thing. My theory on these guys is like, I don't even know if they're. I guess people are like, you crazy, like it's gay, like the sexuality thing. It's not even to me. It's just like an excess thing of power, of control, of domination, of like wanting more and more and more and more and more. So it's like, now I'm on the dudes. I was into chicks. Now I'm on the dudes. Like, who else can I dominate? Who else can I drug? Who else can I control? Where to me, it like goes beyond the sexuality thing. And it's just those other areas. Now I have to watch it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Give it a watch. I'll say this. I have a very hard time these days with comedy specials and getting through them generally.
Same.
50 minutes, an hour. It's like there was a time, I would say like 5 to 7 years ago, where I was like, damn, I really can't get through an hour at this point now, unless it's like Bill Burr, or unless it's like Chappelle, or unless it's like Louis, or like some of the people I think were really great. And though a lot of those guys have lost me since. Now, to be fair, I didn't get through 10 minutes of Cat's last one, or 15 minutes of Cat's last one. This one, we sat down, I watched the whole thing. So, at least it's that.
Yeah, I didn't get through the last one either, to be honest. The one in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I'm like, why are you filming in Jacksonville, bro? It's a weird spot to film. Yeah, I didn't get through it. 859-832-0478. That's our show hotline.
Give us a call.
Give a shout.
You said we have some phone calls lined up? Or
we have a few. And to be honest, I had one today, which the more as our show went on, I was like, this would be way better because it's like an in-depth QB discussion. And I was like,
okay,
let's do that.
Well, we're gonna have a call heavy show here
on that,
over the weekend, probably.
Pre-recorded
for when I'm gone. But Andy has lined up at least one fantastic guest. We won't spoil who for when I'm out of town. But give us a call, 859-832-0478. Give me a follow on all social media at Joe Praino. A bunch of shows coming up. Again, be in the Comedy Store this weekend. Tokyo on the 28th. When I get back to States, immediately to 3 shows in Colorado: Gypsum, Colorado, Schmiggity's in Steamboat, then on the mountain in Steamboat. Pizza Star will be there with me. Andy Laz will be there with me, doing a bros weekend, ski weekend. So that'll be fun. Up north, Bay Area, Marin County, Tahoe, Ticket Link probably coming soon. And then on into, East Coast and Cincinnati, which is still, tickets are available now. Bombs Away in Cincinnati. Andy Ruther will be on the show.
Got to work on a set. There we go. All right, guys. That's the show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. See you guys next week. And as always, stay dirty.